Morning again. We are still at Hinckley's St. Mary's Church. This is the last of the conversations we had with the lads in Hinckley around different ways, different interventions. What we're trying to do is have some of the logs, some of the video logs that we have done with communities, then with individuals, then what we had with communities, and this is the last one. In terms of the individual relationships that sometimes are forged and happen, and how do they work for both parts, from the point of view of the lags and from the point of view of individuals. They form or develop relationships and create groups to support the community. So we have John, which is the local area coordinator, team leader, and Tracy. She will introduce herself, the work she has done, which is quite interesting, how that relationship forged, and what happens, and what are the plans of Tracy for the future as well. But first, let's start with you, John. If you just briefly say, what is your role with the local area coordinator in Hinckley, but most importantly, how do you relate and how do you work with Tracy, please?
Okay, so in a nutshell, my role within Hinckley is the team lead for the Hinckley and Bosworth local area coordinators. There's lots of aims and objectives to local area coordination, but if we can get involved with people before they fall into a crisis situation, then we can help out, we can work alongside people and help them achieve the outcomes that they're looking for. In terms of working alongside Tracy and her group that she set up, it's very useful for us because we come across a lot of carers in the community that we work with, and having a group like Tracy's that we can speak to her about people coming along to the group and getting advice and information, and also Tracy can use us as another means of getting advice and information also. So I don't want to say too much because I want to let Tracy say what the group is and how it runs and so on.
Thank you, John. So,
You're welcome.
Tracy, the floor is yours. What do you do? What is the name of the group that you are working with? How did it start? I understand that you were the initial person to create, to support, to come with the idea, but explain what happens and what do you do?
Yeah, that's
Please.
right. So the group is called Time Out for Carers. Initially, I had no thought of creating a group. I came across a local area coordinator who contacted me and wanted to speak to me about my caring role and what support was in the local area for me. At that point in time, I was working closely with the PPG at my local doctor's surgery.
PPG?
Yeah, Patient Participation Group.
Thank you.
And was trying to highlight carers, and particularly working age carers, that there was a lack of support, particularly in evenings, and for a group that was more about friendship and not necessarily a group that you could go to find out information, which had been until that point my only route of support, was that there were groups that you could go to that might have speakers on certain subjects, that might give you information about aids and adaptions or making wills, and it wasn't really for me. It was like you are very isolated when you're a carer. You don't have that network of maybe friends and work colleagues that have any real understanding of your caring role. They might say they do, but they don't really, because you can't always commit to things, plans change, you can't really keep saying you're cared for is not very well, because people get fed up of hearing it. So yes, when I met Kerry, who introduced herself and explained to me what local area coordination was, she said to me, well, why don't you create a group yourself? Which was something I hadn't even considered. Didn't think that I was capable of doing, didn't know how to go about connecting people, how to initiate that. So from my point of view, local area coordination gave me that helping hand. So she found out all that information, was able to facilitate somewhere to meet, somewhere to talk about what even a group might look like, what I actually thought that I needed and maybe other people needed, and how to go about trying to do that. So yeah, she facilitated all those connections, and then the way to actually go forward with creating the group.
And John, now moving into now the situation there is now, what is the relationship between the lag through yourself and with you, Tracy? How has that changed? Has it changed? Has it evolved? It seems what you said at the beginning was very much about how to do something that you already knew how to do, but you didn't have the information on how to put it to place. That has happened. You already have that group. Two quick things. One is that, how is that relationship now? What is the support mechanism? How that relationship works? Two would be, what would be the main success of that story? So I don't know who would just
Would you
start
like me
first.
to answer, or do you want to?
Can we either? You can answer if you want.
Well, we could do it together. I mean, we currently, I mean, it's the Time Out for Carers group is a fantastic group for us to have in our community, because it provides a support network for like-minded carers that they can go and just speak to people about their issues, and they understand what they're going through. Each person in that group will understand all the problems that they're going through, and have a real understanding of how they can support and what they can offer each other. So that is brilliant for us. It's somewhere where we can introduce the carers that we come across. We can suggest that this group's there. This is the time that they meet. This is where they meet. You would be made more than welcome if you wanted to go. And in addition, we've just started trialling, because I did ask Tracy what she felt would be of help to the group from local area coordinators, other than introducing people in and offering advice and support. And it was having somebody there at their evening meeting, once a month if we can do it, or once every other month, so that if the carers have got any questions or anything that they want to know, linked in with local area coordination, we can be on hand to answer it. So I think we've been to about 2 so far, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's been really useful. It's useful for us to meet with the carers and Tracy and keep that link going.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, carers also bring information into the group. So the group is a peer support group, so we support each other, but we're also bringing all that information into the group to other members, but also to local area coordination. So like you come in, or anybody come in, it might be that we know about groups, we know about events, we know about certain services. So I think it's quite a two-way street.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Thank you very much. But my final question is about the future. You partly both mentioned what you think it will go, and how the relationship is moved from simply starting point to support about information. But how, in your case, Tracy, how do you see that evolving now as we are towards the end of the year within 2025? Will it be the same sort of format? Do you have a mechanism in place? You're thinking, okay, this is sort of things that we'd like to see happening as a result of those relationships with the carers. How do you see that moving?
I think just to keep the connections. At the end of the day, obviously, the local area coordinators will tell us about things that are going on, and I think it's quite important that lots of services are involved with carers if they're going to be for carers.
Yes.
So a lot of the meetings and things that go on locally, we find out from local area coordination, and we will get an invite to go to. And I think that makes a difference.
Well, thank you very much to both of you. That was very informative.
Thank you.
And goodbye now. Thank you.